Hello, everyone. Welcome
Heyo.
back. We are here at Primordic Studio yet again, reacting to some more Genlock. So we watched the first two episodes. Actually, today we released the first episode. When you're watching this, this is the date we have officially been able to release the first episode. So here's to hoping that we can continue this, and if not, then somebody call Rooster Teeth because it's not on us. All right, so Genlock, the first two episodes so far, I love this series. I want to see more of it. And what I understand, there are going to be 8 episodes in this season. So, short run, but if we get 30 minutes worth of episode, or like 25 to 30 minutes worth of episodes every single week, I have no complaints. Especially considering that this is the quality we're getting. We're getting really good quality animation, albeit you stated that some of the characters, whenever they're moving around, look a little bit choppy, and I think it's because of
he found out that they actually render like non-action scenes in like 12 frames per second. Did they give a reason for that?
No. So as far as the action scenes, their action scenes are actually higher frames, really high frames, like 60. All right,
which is good.
But your standard scenes that you're seeing is in 24. So, which is...
Oh, I thought you said 12.
No, we talked about Star Fox after that. Star Fox is rendered at 12 frames per second.
So, what actually happens is it goes back and forth. So, it's not a standard frame rate across the board.
Yeah, that's the problem with me is I can see frame drops from 60 to 24.
I can too.
Not everybody can, but I noticed that. So, it makes it look stutterable or stuttering when it goes back.
Something animated and in a lot of action and stuff, it would look very blurry and weird in 24 frames.
But again, but doing those dialogue scenes, it might feel a little too weird if it's in 60. It might.
Yeah, if you was to put 60 in the dialogue scenes, every little movement, like an insert shot, would be like
still
super fast and sharp. It would be too sharp.
I think it's just it's just artistic style.
But it's like even when I play games that stay in 60 pretty much constantly, it doesn't make it look weird when they're talking or anything. So
well, you see, that's taking into account that's a big video game company dumping a shit ton of time into assets. Where I think this is a preliminary run, and I think if they do another season of this, they'll bump the frames up to 60 frames per second, because that way they'll be able to dedicate more to the in-between animations to make everything a whole lot more.
Or at least if it's like, at 30 or something like that. Like, because a lot of games have always been like locked to 30.
To 60 instead of 24 to 60.
Well, it may be 24 to 48. I mean, because Peter Jackson did that for...
Peter Jackson did that for 3D.
Yeah.
But that's one camera at 48 frames a second, and the other one's at 24. Played at the same time. It gives you a unique but kind of natural feel to a lot of fast action. So you kind of get like a cinematic motion with it, but you're still getting a very sharp image as far as like a lot of your attacks and cuts and the swords.
Well, it's divisibles. It's I've heard it's like the divisibles of the divisible dozen.
Well, and it's double your frame rate. So if your frame rate is that, your shutter speed doubles. So if you shoot at 30 frames a second, your shutter speed goes to 60.
A lot of people say that's why they feel 30 frames per second doesn't feel as good cinematically as 24 or 48. And because they say that from a divisible, that's why they say 60. 60 is the next step. That's why James Cameron is taking such strides to film Avatar 2 at 60 frames per second and present it at 60 frames per second.
Here's what it really comes down to more than anything, is how much action and detail you want in your shots. If you are making something CG kind of like Michael Bay and Transformers, they like blurry. Blurry hides in discrepancies.
Yeah.
So they like blurry. So it's easy for them to
Cameron
shoot.
don't.
Yeah, Cameron likes his. I mean, if you watch Avatar full motion, you can hit pause on one of the action scenes and go frame by frame, and there's not a single blur in there other than like a natural motion blur.
Motion blur.
Yeah, you are gonna have a natural motion blur, but that's natural. I mean, but if he was to film that in like a really high frames, like 60 in Avatar, you wouldn't have any blur and it wouldn't feel natural. It would feel real jittery and jumpy. Now, what they used for the 3D on Avatar, I'm not familiar with. It was all experimental technology.
Well, it was the Vincent Pace system. The Vincent Pace 3D system was pretty much a pre-rendered scene with another scene rendered over top of it to give it the 3D feel.
Yep.
And also there was the face cam, the motion capture
and
stuff.
Avatar's 3D actually felt the best out of any 3D movie I've ever watched in my life. Period.
Well, I will say this: when it comes to standing on the ground and everything, flying though, I got to give that to How to Train Your
man.
Dragon.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's
God,
true. That's true.
I got to give that to How to, because I got lost. Like I felt like I could almost feel the wind in my hair.
Yeah.
Whereas with Avatar, I liked it a lot.
Or I
but-
jumped when I don't even know what they're called. The
Toruk, I think it's called Toruk, the big red one.
Well, not that one, but just the guy that was on the gunner, and he turns and he leans
Oh,
back
he
and
gets
he yells,
eaten.
and he gets eaten, dude. Like the teeth just came at me so much. I mean,
Yeah.
I jumped back in my chair when I saw that live. The propellers, as they started turning on the helicopters, it felt real. The leaves, the drops, the water falling off of it. I felt like I could really reach out, just touch this. Like it
Well,
was
And,
so,
and to think,
it was so clear.
you know what the beautiful thing is about that film, Avatar? 10 years have passed since then.
Oh yeah.
Technology has advanced immensely in terms of filming.
Oh yeah. So when
Cameron
Avatar
Avatar
2, oh man, I am gonna be
We're gonna
there.
see it in 4D.
Dude,
Well,
I will-
actually, they did have something that was 4D-ish in South Korea. It was actually a live immersion theater where actually,
You see like the future and past of images in like overlaying.
not really. It was actually they called it 4D, but it wasn't real 4D.
yeah, I mean,
It was actually like the theater changed with the scenery. Like you were actually inside the forest with Jake while he was walking through it. You were flying through the air. The sides of the
Oh,
theater
okay, I see
were
what you're saying.
LED, and they
Yeah.
changed accordingly.
Yeah.
They adapted that.
3D is a whole different subject, and maybe we'll save it for an episode if you want to talk about some real 3D and cinematography stuff. But I can go into some really complicated stuff on how there's ultimately 3 to 4 major different types of 3D, and I can kind of go into each one, how they work, and how you can set your camera up to make those work the best. Of course, some of those cameras cost like easily $50,000, and you have to have 2 of them.
Well,
And
yeah.
you have to have a rig that actually shoots into a mirror and overlays them to the interocular, which is the distance between your eyes.
Yeah.
Camera lenses are like this big on the big full frames, and it'd be impossible to get them that close together. So they have to shoot into a mirror, which gets them this far apart.
Mm-hmm.
So emulating that in one camera rig and then another camera rig, and you can kind of blur them together, allows you to move your head left and right and look around objects while you're watching a film.
Yeah.
And that's real D3D.
Well, yeah, and
now-
actually, the layers that they're able to put in there. I also, whenever it comes to, filmed in 3D versus conversion in 3D.
Yeah,
Conversion in
big
3D,
difference.
big difference. How they do conversion is they actually layer the shots at different angle points.
Yeah.
They like take pre-renderings of like an angle from a different thing, and that way, whenever you do what you said, go to the side, you can actually see
Yeah,
little
'cause
distance,
when
little
I
distance
tried
spikes.
this because I watched Avatar in theaters 3 times.
saw
I actually
it
tried
6
this.
times.
So whenever he's on the ship and he pulls out the monitor, right?
Yeah,
You can actually turn your head and look around the monitor.
yeah.
Like you can see, I mean, it's only just a little bit, like this much of a distance, but you can actually kind of turn and see behind it from your point of view.
Well, yeah,
which is-
you get this, the straight on, but then you get like
Oh
that.
yeah, you can see just.
It's like-
I mean, it's
it-
just a little bit.
Well,
But,
you have
man,
the
it makes a
two-dimensional
difference.
plane that is protruded by the third dimension by your head. Your head's doing the work. Your brain is discerning the 3D.
When you get into shooting real 3D, you're talking about some very, very super expensive rigs. Shooting in 3D is not affordable. If anybody says otherwise, they're not shooting in real 3D. They're
Well,
shooting some kinda-
talk to James. Well,
And
talk to
HTC
James Cameron.
Yeah,
talk to James Cameron.
Yeah, yeah,
because
'cause-
he's a lot of people say he's one of the reasons why 3D has moved forward at such an accelerated
Well, he
pace.
actually used Sony cameras on Avatar, so he has Sony custom-made cameras for that movie. It was experimental stuff at the time. Peter Jackson, however, with The Hobbit, used the Red Epic.
Yeah.
And
feel
he
like-
had 48 of them on set.
I feel like we are going to break into another podcast if we don't stop.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. So,
Okay.
All right. So here's the deal, guys. I actually have to go into the office and activate the episode there, come back out here to watch it, and then go back in there to stop it. So
But at least you have 30
Yeah.
minutes before you have to go back in there. So.
at least.
You can always edit that out too, though.
So let's see.
I just enjoy talking about tech.
I actually have questions about 3D stuff for later.
Sure. I mean, I'm not a master at it by any means, but it's I'm a tech geek, so
Two of my favorite 3D things have been a scene
guys.
from Silent Hill.
we'll continue the other.
Are you mental? The polity grabs us, telling us there's a science project only we can help with. We get shipped to the middle of nowhere, only to be lumped in with a Union spy who tries to kill us. But he only gets fried because he tried to use the very same tech they're trying to plug us into. And now we're supposed to carry on la 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 like nothing ever happened? Do I have any of the wrong longshanks?
She is my favorite character at this point.
Privacy windows, please. You have the gist of it, but I'd apply a less sarcastic tone.
I think sarcasm helps us see things more clearly.
俺も同感だ。元いた部隊に戻りたい。なんていう日が来るとはな。
I'll be there in a minute. Valentina, you're quiet.
Sometimes it's simply fun to watch.
We're not here for fun.
You sure?
Look at this crazy party you've thrown. And you invited a spy, now dead. A ghost, also dead.
I take offense to that.
Hosted by the absent-minded professor and the Union stray he took in.
You have no idea.
Yazman.
No idea the cost to be here. I
Because
want
of
to
what
be
your
here. I
perfect
want to
union did
fight
to
them.
people
Why
like me.
are
So
you
do
here?
not lecture me about the cost
It
of
was
fighting.
not my union!
Dr. Weller, you are urgently requested to join Colonel Marin in ops.
Mix into my lab again without permission, and I will rewrite you to speak only in Gilbert and Sullivan lyrics.
Well, look at him.
More of a Dylan fan, I suppose. Well, this conversation has been delightful, but I believe it's the Colonel's turn to berate me. Chase, feel free to take over. You can't make things worse, I don't think.
Watch me try.
Understood. V-103 and V-104 will maintain suppression until transports are past the 88.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm transferring you to Anvil Tactical. They'll coordinate the withdrawal from here.
Acknowledged.
Anvil Tower, Colonel Marin. ETA till the medevacs arrive.
2 hours, ma'am. We'll be ready to receive them in front of Hangar 2.
Page me when they land. Damn it.
That didn't sound good.
It wasn't. Follow me. We need to figure out your next destination.
That's funny, you make it sound like we won't be staying.
You're compromised. Wherever Hullcroft was sending you next, it's time to go. Union knows you're here.
Then it's a good thing you transferred us, isn't it? We're better to dig in than one of the Vanguard's biggest strongholds. They'd be fools to attack.
They did just attack. A Union operative replaced one of your recruits, got onto my base with nanotech on him. Dios ayúdanos.
I can help with that. I've had some thoughts about the signal they used.
It was a massive risk bringing you here. It made sense when I thought it would give us a better chance in the war. But I do not believe the risk is worth wasting time trying to make soldiers out of these children.
They are hardly children.
Let me go! Get me the fuck out of here! Nobody goes anywhere until the doctor returns.
ひょっとしてバルの
Valentina, yo.
バレンティナの言う通りかもな。ここに来てたった一日でユニオンは俺たちを囚人のように拘束してる。I would choose my next words very wisely. なんだよ。タンクから出てきて俺とやんのか Man, I'm just trying to warn you. She'll kick your ass. Act like adults, would you?
You're being ridiculous.
And you are nowhere near giving me a single functioning squad when I was led to believe I'd have my first full platoon by now.
I led you to believe nothing. You knew how far we were from mass production.
You could have more candidates if you'd work on advancing Genlock.
And I will, but I can't do that. Recruit and make the program field ready all at the same time. I'm only one person. I can't just clone myself. Believe me, I've tried. Benefit of the doubt, please. We haven't even begun their training.
The problem
Gives a
isn't
whole new that would
fundamental.
give a whole new definition of talking to yourself.
Their lives were in disarray to begin with. Now they're in shock with the very first attack.
By their very nature, Genlock candidates are the most resilient, adaptable people you'll ever meet. They'll get past this. I guarantee they'll become the best fighters you've ever seen.
I'm not here to fight. I was told I was needed for scientific research.
Well, yeah, research. on how to fight better?
I was in the resistance against the Union even before New York. I've been fighting one way or another my whole life. I'm done now. And you'll need more than that android if you try to stop me from going.
You want to leave? Genlock will give us the edge we need to strike back.
More revenge. What's that going to solve? War never changes anything. People themselves are the problem, and more fighting won't alter that. I've done my bit. Let the world tear itself apart. I'm going to live it up while I can.
That sounds like me.
It's a nihilist.
That is.
It's a pure nihilist.
No regrets.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Что?
You're gonna go live it up like there's no tomorrow, which is gonna make sure there's no tomorrow. I can guarantee you'll have one last regret as the Union Nano hits wherever you've been partying at. You'll think, maybe I could have changed this. And I did it.
It's a bit late for regrets now, isn't it? Let's not forget, the Union wouldn't be hunting us if Genlock hadn't been militarized.
They would come for you, one way or the other. Even if you'd stayed on the West Coast. 6 months from now, you'd be dead or conscripted, and the Union would take Genlock anyway.
6 months?
That's Command's estimate. 6 months till the polity is pushed out of North America. Unless we turn the tide. Go tell your recruits. See if that motivates them.
Even if you don't trust me, listen to the doctor. Trust him.
I trust no one. It's why I'm still alive.
In a way, she's right. You all are. I'd like to start over.
Wouldn't we all?
I'm glad you don't blindly give trust. Sign of a reasonable mind. But we do need to start somewhere. Let's get to brass tacks. You are all we've got.
Way to sell it.
We need you. You have an opportunity no one else has to master this new technology. And in doing so, perhaps turn the tide of the war.
You think we're gonna Luke Skywalker the war for you? That's a very nice fairy tale.
日本で長官に行って降格されたけど、あんたにも言うぜ。俺はただ命令されて戦うのはごめんだ。
I wouldn't want it any other way. If you want to return to your previous lives, I'll tell the Colonel anything you want, that you were incompatible after all. You'll be free to go. All I ask is that you try Genlock one time.
Can't say I'm crazy about trusting my brain to a piece of tech that killed a man right in front of us. It does do something besides kill us, am I right?
Yeah.
Chase, you're still mixing in from your Holland?
Affirmative.
Why don't you let our Vanguard friends know we're ready for a lesson? Yaz, would you mind uploading? Go set up the playground?
Of course, Doctor.
Caliban?
Are we to use the hanger?
It's such a beautiful day. Let's hold class outside. Please, set up over by Hangar 2.
And new ground, this is ESU-2. Mama is waking up, taxiing to staging area 1.
ESU-2 and Oakground. Clear taxi, hold at 35 right for relating traffic.
Taxi and hold, ESU-2.
Her accent and her name.
I'm assuming she's Spanish.
I would say Albanian or Turkish.
Could be
definitely
Turkish.
Definitely Middle Eastern.
I forget what her name is.
Madrani.
Okay, that's
Madrani.
That's
like usually names that end in I are usually Italian or.
That's gonna be Turkish, I think.
But
Middle Eastern somewhere, something like
yeah.
that.
She's controlling it from here.
She is the mech now. Her mind has uploaded to the cyberbrain.
Huh. Okay. That's kind of cool. When it works.
It works fine, provided you are psychologically fit and neurologically compatible with the system. Might as well put your brain in a microwave. So, who wants to...
Well, you expect him not to be honest after you saw what happened to the first guy?
Yeah, not me, dude. I wouldn't be going out.
I'd try. If he said I was compatible, I'd trust him.
I'll be like, I want to see evidence that I'm compatible and how he knows.
Reminiscence and,
Valentina, please. And not yet, thanks.
Piss. Can you give me a few days to QC your code at least?
fortune favors the bold.
God's sakes, what is wrong with
God,
the
yeah,
today?
she's definitely my favorite character at this point.
Okay, we get it. You still got game. I never lost it. You, on the other hand, never had it. Man, I might actually get bored.
Maybe if you turned off aim assist?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Presence. Are your Vanguard companions joining or not?
Yeah, they're supposed to be joint training and all that. Yeah, here they come.
Then you don't think this is weird?
I didn't say that.
I think it's weird. I mean, I want to be welcoming and all, but
Please, let it go. I will find a way to talk to him.
you want me to tell him about us? Do I need to do it?
Are you out of your mind? Let's go.
Oh.
That explains that slightly more, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it wasn't her fault.
I mean, it was 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years. That's a long freaking time.
Yep.
Ready, Miss McLeod.
The rabbit hole. Let's do this.
Clear your mind.
And I'm going to die.
Listen to your breathing. The goal is to lower heart rate and blood pressure. Just relax. Just
Breathe.
You should sense a pulse.
Breathe.
A repeating pressure you've never felt before at the edge of your mind. That's JAXMerrick's sync signal. Looking for it. Give in to it. Reach for it. Go to that sensation. Go to the light. Grab it. And then hang on.
Kazoo,
Cousin.
if I wink out, you can have my manga collection.
何なんてガキのようなもんだ。
What's wrong with you?
You know my manga collection. And here we go.
It's just like Avatar.
Pretty much.
Except instead you get a 40-foot robot.
I'd much rather have the 40-foot robot.
Yeah, preferably. Don't get me wrong, being a gigantic athletic blue cat person
Yeah.
is cool, but
Big
No.
blue kitty cat.
yeah, big blue bipedal kitty. That's right.
Yeah. How you doing? Do I mean just learning how to walk? Again. This is incredible.
Incredible. Everything can be a bit overwhelming at first, especially with your senses.
Jesus, I'm tall.
Well, yeah, you're almost 4 stories.
No, I mean, I'm really tall. Like, my legs are wrong or something.
You have a new center of gravity. Your legs are longer, proportionally speaking.
I only had enough time to design one frame to give you all. I went with some idealized ratios plus some stylistic
Touches. You'll adapt over time.
My veins are showing.
Next up.
They're not real. Now they're all in. Just like, let's do this.
You have a variety of physical feedback indicators coming from all over the hall.
See, I like this as far as like the providing the exposition through dialogue and stuff.
Yes.
Vision and perception all looking good. No signs of cyber attacks here. Excellent.
Let's everybody gather outside and we'll get going on in-ground formation. Oh, and happy second birthday, everyone. As many happy returns as possible.
Welcome to your new body.
Yeah, I wonder if you die in that mech, if it
Well, that could be a secret.
messes your...
Yeah, that could be a secret he's all onto.
If whatever technology is connected to send you back gets damaged, you're going to be stuck there at least.
Well, I think in terms of like if there's an emergency protocol, you'll Dick.
No, football's around.
No, they're not.
She's from a different part of the world.
I know that. And I don't agree with their ideals about football.
It's the different the different.
I understand, and I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't really either. Football's around, and I'm like, actually, I remember one time this guy got on me for calling it soccer. He's like,
It's because it's a fucking soccer ball.
no. He's like, you know what? He's like, he was British. He was just like, he's like, mate, it's not really soccer, right? And I'm like, you do realize the British were the ones who came up with that term? And he was just like,
I just ran like I was like,
ah.
here's my mech warrior style mechs.
After today, they will begin your education in weapons, team combat tactics, and paying attention, please, Canny.
Sorry.
That's some expensive training unit.
They've had years of field experience, and they are very generously donating their time to train you up. So, heed them well.
I would walk up to those mechs and just like, good mech. Pet it.
Pat.
Oh, it's got real pilots in it. Never mind.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna like destroy the mechs.
No.
Like,
We're going to do a round of capture.
They're basically shooting big old paintballs, I
Just
think.
one of you has to get past us. Touch the flagpole back there. We hit you, you're out. Spread out on the other side of that line and let's get started.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, let's go again.
why did they run directly at him?
No, the more the back
That's
at
the
you.
joke.
Yeah,
These
don't
guys, I
run
don't think
directly
they're
at them.
all that combat training. So,
Damn it.
No problem. You're not expected to win right out of the gate. Let's go again.
There's Lucio. Well,
Punk. Headshot. Sorry. Really? Really?
Almost.
We're missing one.
Jody, she got past you.
Oh, damn it.
Very close.
Did you see the look on her face? Not that she's got a face, but
Alright, I think there's enough punishment for one day. Let's pack it in.
Oh no, we ain't quite done.
Let's show them the goal.
sorry.
Let's show them what they can do once they're trained up. Care if I give it a shot?
What are you up to?
What? It's cool. Alright. Let's see what you can do.
Everybody reset.
All right. Okay. Nuh-uh. You didn't say the magic word.
no, I just damaged his mech.
No, he just knocked him down.
I'm suddenly much more interested.
Oh, there goes the light again. And it's back.
Strider's back to me.
what happened? Oh, the light flicker.
Go. Do whatever it is you do to reset.
Mm.
I've only seen seen it before in the news feeds.
You get numb to it when all you see are vids going by.
Needless aggression, unscrupulous greed, unchecked hate. To have the images, the headlines incessantly thrust at you, hour after hour, years at a time, you normalize to it. They want you to go numb, become indifferent, or lose yourself in distractions, for it to feel like the evil in this world and all its machinations are too big to challenge. That loss of control leads to despair, to re-engage, to claw back even the tiniest sense of control. You don't have to save the world, you just have to make a difference where you can, with the opportunities you are given. That's all I'm asking.
These ideals, you make it sound so simple.
It's not. I had such high hopes for how Genlock could be used to expand communications, understanding, improve the human condition, all its potential. And of course, the first thing we do is weaponize it. But maybe, just maybe, if we're made to fight, we can apply it a new way. Save more lives, protect those who can't protect themselves, buy some time for others to end the war. And after that, who knows what we can achieve.
You can call him Dr. Light.
I'd still say you'd have to solve humanity itself.
そうさ、悪をどうやってなくす? You can't, but you can step up when you see it. And we got a very special chance to help more than anybody else.
What is Genlock if not the next step in humanity's evolution? And you can be the first to see where it takes us.
You want in? 俺たちのやり方でユニオンと戦えるってことだな。
More or less.
We have rescue duties.
Absolutely. Won't be all you do, I suspect. But
Yeah, toys.
as many as we can build.
Hey, put her there.
Looks like we got a team.
We should celebrate.
John B, huh?
No, gaming. This level on stage 2 I've been trying to keep. It's gonna help me while I fight the dragon each week and clear up all the mess.
You didn't tell them about the 6 months.
No. Couldn't bring myself to do it. They have to choose for themselves, not out of some clumsy guilt trip.
Interesting. I can't help but notice you put them right next to where the medevacs were arriving.
Oh. Did I do that?
Colonel, you've a message from a modern Major General.
What did I tell you?
What is happening to my base?
Genlock, that's what's happening. General, you have a message.
Awesome. Good episode. A good third episode.
Yeah.
I've liked all 3 of them since I watched so far.
So, yeah. Alright, everybody. I'm going to go on over here.
Nate will be back in just a moment.
I like how they put enough of the love interest, just a little bit, probably on each episode, just to keep that little love interest going.
Well,
and I mean, every good JRPG, every good really story has some kind of relationship.
Well,
or some kind of bond, something to bond you and make you care for those characters. Or
and here's one thing about it is the stereotype is that just because 2 people are the lead, you know, the opposing leads are male and female, they have to be in a relationship. However, that doesn't always have to be the case. There's strain in that relation. There's strain in this relationship.
Yeah. It's conflict.
Yeah, it's a huge conflict because one, she's moved on. Yep. She's, for the most part, she's
and
still
it just now told you that. It didn't say it directly; it said it indirectly, which, you know, by dialogue or overhearing. Now you kind of heard it from his perspective, and you seen he was kind of showing off during the thing, and then looked at him through there. I mean, you can basically it's relaying a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of pride, but I don't know where that's going to play out at. But I think that's a really cool way to keep that interest going through the show without just spilling it all out in one episode, you know?
Yeah, and there's something I noticed while I was skimming through the intro. You know, I had to skip the intro this time. I noticed that Blaine, his character who died in the previous episode, is still in the credits.
So What I think is going to end up happening is they're probably one of their first missions to be like a rescue mission to get him, basically because they also show him in like the intro and everything too. Mm-hmm. If he was just an immediate throwaway character, I imagine they wouldn't have bothered. But
what I think is going to happen is he's going to be saved by the doc. He's going to be saved. Like the doc is going to pretty much put him in the system as as pretty much a floating consciousness. Mm-hmm. And he's pretty much going to be an assist from now on. Either that, or after he's built up enough trust, he will become the 6th pilot. And he may never... Yeah, it keeps doing that. It keeps...
I spent $20 on a goddamn light bulb. It better fucking work.
I don't understand how it does that.
It's sort of working.
It's not kicking a breaker.
It's probably like you said. The leads are probably.
I'm assuming it's just the heating and contracting because these lights do get fucking hot.
Yeah, but honestly, man, for everything that we've witnessed, who's to say that it won't be it's an impossibility for him to be in the system somehow?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden they hear a whisper inside of their suits, and they're like, "What is that?" And then they find out it's him. And through him redeeming himself, I think if they're going to do a character redemption arc, like a full character redemption, like someone who has gone completely to the dark side and finds his way back, kind of like Vegeta, how Vegeta was. If they do a dark side redemption arc, then I think that's one thing. But a character redemption arc, that's what we got going on. That's what we got going on with Chase.
With Chase, yeah.
Well, that's what we got going on with Chase. We got a character redemption arc because he's been gone for 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He is pretty much he's half of himself. He's literally lost his legs and one of his arms.
Yeah.
He's pretty much just a floating husk inside of a glass case.
So he didn't really have a choice to volunteer for the Genlock. He
No,
basically got volunteered.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming. Yeah, well, I'm assuming it would have been like, "Hey, I'm not doing this," and
you're just gonna die.
He demanded, I mean, if he demanded, "Hey, just pull the plug." I mean, I imagine.
Well, I guarantee he probably was that low at one point.
Yeah, but like, the doctor was probably like, "Hey,
there's nothing we can do.
This will be for humanity. Do your part."
Well, that's one thing. Well, I think if we do a flashback, it'll show him in the hospital trying to recover, and him being in constant pain from the nanites, from the nanomachines eating at his flesh.
Well, yeah.
and then his body, like through the natural process, he's going to his body's natural process. It's fighting back in some way.
Yeah.
And thus he'll be laying in the hospital bed, and he'll just be asking them to pull the plug. And then the doctor comes in and says, "We may not be able to help you now, but we can do something for now."
Well, and there's the aspect of he might want to try and save his mother and sister.
Well,
we don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's one thing we don't know, and I think whenever the big conversation between Chase and what's her name, Dakota Fanning's character.
Miranda.
Miranda, thank you. I couldn't remember if it was Angela or Miranda.
I still got to try and solidify all the names.
So Miranda, I think the big character because that hasn't happened yet. It's building for right now, and I think when that happens, he's going to ask, "What about my mom and my sister? Where are they?" And I guarantee you, she's probably going to be like, "They were, we were forced to leave the city before I could do anything," or something like that, and he'll want to look for them.
Right.
And who's to say that?
Well, he would have certainly asked that within the last 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah. But that's to say they don't know anything that's going on where the Union has taken over.
Yeah.
If they don't know where how far the Union has reached in, who's to say that they'll be able to do anything? Who's to say that they'll be able to make any sense of it?
I mean, we don't know exactly what the Union. We still don't really have an idea yet of what the Union is or what it does, and this is as far as I've seen up to it. I haven't seen episode 4
From
yet.
what I'm seeing of the Union, it kind of seems like a rebel base type.
Either that or a full invasion faction.
Well, I mean, the Union, it has that kind of striking reminiscence feel of like the Soviet Union, sort of, where it's like this slowly creeping effect that's gradually you have to just constantly fight it, otherwise it's gonna consume the world kind of thing. So it kind of seems like a knock on that, but just like a cyber version of it.
Yeah.
One thing is, it definitely seems to be an army that has no qualms with like innocent people getting destroyed and collateral damage.
Well, that's the Soviet Union as a whole.
Yeah.
The Soviet Union didn't even care about its own citizens. Why the hell would it care what refugees fleeing from an enemy country would
I mean, that said, we still don't know exactly we don't know whether it's a communist type deal or a fascist type deal. I mean, it could be, we don't know exactly what the motives are or really anything.
Yeah.
So it's hard to speculate. But.
Well, I'm anticipating a lot, although I don't know. That's the beauty of this series, is that I have all these unanswered questions in my head, and so far, a lot of the stuff that was answered in this, how the Genlock system works, because we saw Madani and we saw Chase in their suits, and we saw them sync up like that, no problem. But a first timer syncing up successfully.
Yeah.
We saw what happened with Blaine's character in the second episode. Pretty much fried his brain like an egg.
Well, the doctor mentioned something there. I didn't quite catch what he said, but as far as
coming back.
Well, like them, calling it a day early, whatever, because it sounded like there might be like a fatiguing element to this. Like they can't do this for
probably
because permanent damage on your brain.
Yeah.
Well, same thing. The same thing happens in Evangelion. Evangelion, if you're in the LCL fluid for so long, eventually your body starts to the barriers of your body start to dissipate, and you actually become part of the LCL fluid, and that actually happened. No, that actually happened. In one of the episodes, Shinji actually...
Don't spoil it.
Jerk. I forgot we were watching that.
Duh.
What? Duh? Nothing, dude. We haven't watched it in like, what, 3
are we gonna
weeks,
have to
4 weeks?
It's not my fault. No.
I thought you were done with it.
Are we going to have to wait on episode 4?
Maybe. We could do it. We could probably do it. Actually, I prefer we do it next week.
Fuck, killing me.
Yeah, that's what.
All right. Actually,
no, I mean, it's fine.
What time is it right now? What time is it right now?
I don't know, but I'm hungry.
You got homework and shit to do?
7:55. Yeah.
The whole set out there.
You want to?
Yeah, we got to break this.
Yeah, we'll save it for next week.
Yeah. So.
Damn you.
Damn me nothing.
That's all good. It's all good.
All right.
Maybe I'll just watch and you won't know.
It didn't stop you from doing the first 2 episodes.
Well,
like
we didn't even have this set up.
I know.
I'm
just being an ass. We'll see if we can accelerate this, and by next week we'll try and do episode 4 and 5, because by next week 5 will be out. So we'll probably try and do 4 and 5 the same day.
Yeah.
Try and get Lavina caught up too, because I want her in on this too, because giant fighting mechs, I guarantee you she's probably looking at that one Scottish chick and she's like a Scottish diva.
Yeah. Cammy McLeod is definitely my favorite character.
For God's sakes, put me down, you.
Put me down. Get me the fuck out of here.
Get me the fuck out of here.
That's awesome. And that was the first
accents,
point.
I think Prince season 2 comes out in 2 days. So.
I think I heard it earlier. Like they had said "fuck" at some point earlier, but that was the first one that stuck out. Like, oh shit, okay. So
it was deliberately meant to say "fuck" after he said they're not children anymore.
Yeah. Well, no, I know that part, but like, I mean, I'm pretty sure they had said it's earlier in the show, like the first or second episode, or something like that.
Yeah, the second episode they did.
That was like that one that definitely stood out. Like, oh, okay, so they're definitely not.
Well,
they're not
implying that people who say "fuck" are children.
No. What I'm saying is what they're saying is, they're not afraid to swear on this, like they have been with certain series in the past on Rooster.
Yeah, I knew that. It was just like that was immediately what they said after that. Like it was like.
But there is talk that Genlock will be coming to Toonami.
Well, it'll just be censored then.
Well, yeah. Either that or they'll have alternate recordings.
Give me the fudge out of here.
No, let me the hell out of here. No, because on Toonami, because they're allowed to swear. They're allowed to swear on Adult Swim because Toonami's run on Adult Swim
only after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but they are allowed to swear, and they are allowed to show blood. They're not allowed to show nudity for the most part. They're allowed to show dude butt, but they're not allowed to show ladies for some reason. That's weird. Double standards. Ain't they fun? Yeah, but anyway, the freaky thing about Genlock being on Toonami, that's just like when that's like, holy crap, this is Rooster Teeth's actually becoming a more legitimate company, and they're actually being able to put this stuff on broadcast. I know for people like us,
I mean, I think their legitimacy is fine. I think I would be concerned if they start kind of expanding out to that corporate stuff.
Well, I think think if they remain as long as they remain their own separate company and they option the stuff out, versus them going to them and say, hey, publishing rights, we'll give you publishing rights if you'll fund Genlock season 2 and season 3.
Yeah.
Then I might be a little bit worried, because this is the Turner Broadcasting, and they have a very bad history of just destroying great things. Like when they destroyed Toonami by trying to make it too kid friendly, instead of moving it to late nights like it should have back in the day.
See, I was watching late nights. So.
Yeah, me too. I remember the midnight run with Gundam Wing Uncut. That was awesome because it included everything. It included the blood. It included the political intrigue. It included that Hira. It included like some of the religious aspects too. And I was like, wow, this is actually really in-depth stuff. And then they did Dragon Ball Z Uncut, and that was awesome too. Started to see more of the episodes of that. And if we see Genlock moved to Toonami, which when Toonami was revived, I was just like so happy because.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it's only like I've only heard like 2 cuss words in the whole show, so it would.
No, I've heard the F word twice, and I've heard shit a few times as well.
Okay.
I was excited, but when they said they were bringing Toonami back for like a minute, because I'm like, that's really cool. It's super nostalgic, and then I was like, I don't care though, because I don't watch TV anymore.
I don't have cable.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter to me because I have the membership for RT, so
we have the internet.
So if I have the option to watch it somewhere that I can watch it without commercials, I'm gonna do that every time because fuck commercials.
It's just the nostalgic feeling.
You know how many times I've bought something I've seen on a commercial that I wasn't already planning to buy?
Now, if they would have like a Toonami channel on YouTube Red or something like that.
Well, YouTube Red, or if they did something on their own website, where you paid like I don't know, $5 a month, and you could get full access to the to all of their stuff, commercial free and all that.
Yeah,
I think that'd be awesome.
Well, it's just not proprietary cable support stuff.
No.
I don't think awful.
No,
man.
I don't. Well, except I will say this: DirecTV's proprietary support is actually pretty good, because where it's all digital and it's all streaming to your through satellite, you can actually stream it on your computer from the DirecTV service.
I mean, like shows making it mandatory that you have a service provider.
Xfinity's X1 or whatever the fuck it is, like their thing where you can go and watch shows whenever. It's cool, but you have to have cable to fucking access it. So.
And it does me nuts with certain shows. Shannara Chronicles was on MTV a long time ago, and I wanted to watch it. I was like, man, this show's awesome. It wasn't on Netflix at the time. Went to go find it. Couldn't find it anywhere. I was willing to pay for it, but I couldn't. They wouldn't let me pay for it. They said basically what happened is you had to have a certain cable provider. So they give you the links to go to that cable provider and get like Xfinity something, which is like $100-something a month for cable. And I'm like, no. I'm like, so you know what that results in?
What?
People illegally downloading stuff.
It does.
If you can't easily access your show or whatever, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, wherever it's at, then people's gonna steal it.
That's why I've got Hulu without the commercials, because I don't like commercials. And plus commercials. Nick and I were watching My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan on there, so that's awesome. And also, me and Quinn, actually, I want to try and get back so Nick can actually stream, and me and Quinn can actually watch a couple episodes of Game of Thrones, because Quinn's trying to catch up before.
I've literally not watched Game of Thrones. I need to fucking watch it.
Yes, you do.
Yes, it's badass.
Dude, it is. Watch it all the way from the beginning. You will not regret it.
It's like one of the rare things where like everybody and their brother likes it, and so you're kind of like, anything that mainstream can't be that great, but it's there's a reason everybody likes it.
The only thing my dad didn't like was in the first 3 seasons. They've tapered down on it quite a bit since then. Was the excessive nudity. I mean, just like dude dick dangling around and titties out everywhere. My dad, who's a bit of a prude, he was just like he's like, I don't mind the women, but oh god, why is
funny how that goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Spartacus, man. Spartacus.
Oh god, blood,
dicks everywhere.
Blood and sand. Yeah. Blood and the first season, man.
I felt sand in my crotch watching that show.
Oh, dude, I looked at some of the stuff in that show, and I'm just like, do those people have no shame?
Like,
and then you find out that actually they hired a porn company to do work in the background to make it more realistic.
Ah.
Damn.
That's just fucking hilarious. Yeah. And then there was actually,
there was
I met Craig Parker. I met the guy who played Glabber.
Okay.
I met him. Cool guy. I swear to God, I heard his accent. I wanted to go running through the forest and slay orcs with him.
Yeah,
because of his accent. Because he's got that New Zealander accent.
The cast, a lot of the cast from Spartacus and some of the people from The Hobbit are on the Shannara Chronicles.
Yeah.
The guy played Crixus is one of the main characters.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's an awesome actor. He really is. I mean, that dude is badass.
Yes.
It's like
the dude that plays Crixus. He's played Slade, I think, in The Arrow.
Yeah,
he's he's a villain in a couple of the seasons.
Yeah, he was just awesome. Who was the African guy? The guy
Peter
with the whip.
Mensa.
Okay, yeah,
Peter
he
Mensa.
was killer.
Yeah.
I will say though, it sucked that the original main character,
Andy Whitfield.
died,
when he died, that was
he was just so much better than the guy that replaced him.
Actually, I talked to Craig Parker about that whole situation because it was about a year after Andy Whitfield died and after the second season went on.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him. I was like, so that whole situation, the unfortunate passing of Andy Whitfield and the hiring of Liam McIntyre, was there anything that really was really discerning when he came in? Or was there any people who thought, oh, this and that? And he was like, no, everyone wanted the show to continue. And Liam knew that he was stepping into some big shoes, or as Craig put it, he's like some big sandals. Because Craig was always Craig was a jokester, dude. He wore Wolverine claws our entire interview that we did. He was standing there. He was just sitting the whole time, just emoting with the Wolverine claws on his hand. I was like, God, this dude is so fucking awesome. Yeah. I love him.
Yeah, I'm definitely not for something got to shut a production down because the main actor, died.
Well, from everything that Liam McIntyre did, I'm very glad that he continued in the style that Andy Whitfield was going for.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to be Andy Whitfield, but he knew the character. He dove himself up enough into the character.
He pulled it off. It was still a great show all the way through.
Oh, yeah. I still enjoyed it all the way. Yeah. But, all right. So, we're going to have to get out of here, everybody, or else we're going to be on this for another...
on and on.
Yeah, another rambler. We're more rambling, everybody. Yeah. So, anyway, thank you all very much for tuning in, everyone. And this was Genlock, Episode 3. And, if you all want to see more of this, if you want to see the episodes before we do, there's a link down below to the Rooster Teeth website. You if you sign up on there, you can actually get to view all of the episodes up to, I think, about 2 weeks before we actually get to them. So, hey, that's something interesting.
Hopefully we'll be able to catch up. By next week, we'll be on episode 5.
Yeah, hopefully
next one.
Hopefully we'll be caught up, but... if you all are interested, if there's anything else y'all are interested in us watching, let us know. And until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
Jacob.
I'm Roan.
And we'll see you later, everybody. Peace out.
Get me the fuck out of here.
Get me the fuck out of here.
I'm also starving to death.
Yes, let's go.